This is First News on News Radio 1290 WNBF Binghamton and WNBF.com.
News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. The National Weather Service says there's a chance of scattered thunderstorms today. A few storms may become strong to severe with damaging wind gusts, heavy rainfall, and perhaps some hail. Stay tuned to News Radio WNBF for all the latest weather information throughout the day. The village government offices in Johnson City will soon be relocated at a site that also will be used as a public works department facility. Construction and renovation work at the former Country Valley Industries property at 60 Leicester Avenue is nearing completion. The 6-acre site was acquired by Great Eastern Hemp in 2019. Company officials had said they expected to hire up to 40 workers to process hemp at the building, but that plan fell through. The village of Johnson City acquired the property through the eminent domain process. The village paid nearly $2.6 million for the site in December 2021. The Johnson City Village Board in September authorized borrowing $12 million for the project. Crews from LaChase Construction Services started renovation work for the new village office complex in October. Josh Howland, Johnson City's Director of Services, said that he expects the contractors will be completed working at the site by the end of this week. Mayor Martin Maney told WNBF News that village offices at the current municipal building will be closed during the week of August 14th while phone and computer equipment is moved. Maney said the goal will be to have offices open at the Leicester Avenue facility on August 21st. Holland said public works operations will be moved to the new site over the next couple of months. The village offices have been located in the former Marine Midland building at 243 Main Street since 1986. That property will be sold after the offices have been moved. A Port Crane man has received a prison sentence after admitting he possessed cocaine. Authorities say 56-year-old Robbie Williams was sentenced to 2.5 years in state prison, followed by 3 years post-release supervision. He had pleaded guilty to criminal possession of a controlled substance. The charge was filed after a police search of Williams and the vehicle he was driving on Main Street in Johnson City in September 2021. That search turned up cocaine and nearly $1,900 in cash. According to the Broome County DA's office, Williams had a prior felony drug possession conviction dating back to 2018. Morning home delivery of the Press and Sun Bulletin newspaper remains available for Binghamton area residents right now, but that might change in the not-too-distant future. Gannett, the newspaper chain that owns the Press and Sun Bulletin, has fired its delivery teams in several cities over the past couple of years. In places like Ithaca and Elmira, Gannett decided it would save money by relying on the U.S. Postal Service to deliver its papers. The shift to mail delivery for the Elmira Star-Gazette started July 10th. The Ithaca Journal ended its own home delivery service in December 2021. Of course, because there's no regular mail delivery on Sundays, the weekend edition of the Star-Gazette now is scheduled to be delivered by postal carriers on Saturday. But if you don't get it in Saturday's mail, you'll probably wind up getting it Monday. The Binghamton Press and Sun Bulletin and other New York Gannett papers now are printed in Rockaway, New Jersey. Newspaper subscribers in Ithaca and elsewhere have complained about inconsistent mail delivery since Gannett made the switch. The Postal Service has experienced the same problems Gannett has encountered in recruiting workers. News reports indicate Gannett has moved to mail delivery for dozens of its newspapers in smaller markets across the U.S. Company won't say at this point exactly how many papers are being delivered by the Postal Service, and it also refused to say when a change might occur with the Binghamton paper. In a response from WNBF News, questions that we sent, Gannett Corporate Communications said, "We have not implemented this strategy in Binghamton, but we have made the decision to shift the distribution model in some markets from carrier delivery to delivery via the Postal Service to ensure more consistent delivery." The statement said the company is confident the transition will allow the company to best serve subscribers and advertisers. Company Also said we'll continue to evolve our business model, evaluating delivery frequencies as demand for digital news increases and readers' habits shift. So stay tuned. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service. Mostly sunny today, a chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, high 83. Partly cloudy tonight with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, low 63. Mostly sunny tomorrow, a chance of showers and thunderstorms late in the day, high 84. And sunny Wednesday, high 91. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Good morning. It is First News Binghamton, and I am Bob Joseph in for Don Morgan this morning. Thank you for joining us. It is Monday, July 24th, 2023, and we are very pleased to be able to start the new week with you, and I trust that you'll plan to spend many of your hours as you wish to be informed and entertained with WNBF at 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, streaming at WNBF. Coming up this morning, of course, we'll have lots of information. We will have sports update, let you know how the Rumble Ponies did on the Sunday final game of their series against the Erie Seawolves at Stadium here in downtown Binghamton. Also, we'll let you know about how the Mets and the Yankees did. And a few other things as well right here on News Radio, WNBF. We'll also have some money news and entertainment news, features that you may find very intriguing and helpful. One note today, programming notes here at WNBF. I'll be filling in with First News Binghamton till 9, but don't worry, there will be a talk show today. However, the talk show will start at 10 o'clock this morning. So those of you who normally are tuned in right after the 9 o'clock news for our local talk program, don't worry, we will start the program, but we will start it an hour later. So tune in today from 10 to noon. If you have some things to talk about, we will have plenty of opportunities for you to discuss the issues that are important to you, local issues and perhaps some national issues as well. 6:13, we are looking at a decent day today with a high of 64. The National Weather Service helpfully says there will be some scattered thunderstorms today, and a few of the storms late today could become strong to severe with damaging wind gusts, heavy rainfall, and perhaps some hail. No major widespread problems are anticipated, but we still are in sort of a summertime pattern. Also, for those of you who like warm weather or even hot weather, it's coming back. I would call it a mini heat wave later this week. So temperatures hitting 90, maybe even in the low 90s are possible toward the end of the week. We'll have the complete forecast coming up right here on News Radio. WNBF News Time, 6:14. 6:15 sports time here at News Radio, WNBF. We begin with the Rumble Ponies, with a big win at home. Binghamton shut out the Erie Seawolves Sunday afternoon to split the 6-game series. Augustin Ruiz started the scoring with a leadoff solo home run in the second inning, which gave Binghamton a 1-0 lead. It was his team-leading 11th home run of the season. Ruiz was part of the action again in the 6th inning. He smacked a 2-out double, and Hayden Sanger followed with an RBI double to give the Ponies a 2-0 lead. The Ponies' pitching staff blanked Erie for the second time this series and pitched to their 5th shutout of the year. Christian Scott made his second start of the series and struck out 6 batters over 4 innings. Scott allowed 2 hits but faced the minimum over 4 scoreless frames. Binghamton's bullpen combined to throw 5 scoreless frames. Nolan Clenny tossed 2+ frames with 2 strikeouts and allowed 1 hit. Daniel Juarez tossed 1+ inning. William Woods came in for the 6-out save and threw just 4 pitches in the 9th inning for the win. In the final 2 games of the series, Binghamton's bullpen combined to throw 11 scoreless innings with 10 strikeouts while allowing only 5 hits and 1 walk. The Rumble Ponies now begin a 6-game series against the Reading Fightin' Phils on the road in Pennsylvania. In the home of Boscov's department store, the headquarters for Boscov's in Reading. That'll be an early game. First pitch is set for noon tomorrow, and WNBF coverage begins at 11:50 tomorrow morning with Jacob Wilkins. One other note, Ruiz went 3 for 4 and recorded his second 3-hit game of the year. Again, the final yesterday at the stadium, Binghamton 2, Erie nothing. Elsewhere in the wide world of sports, Yankee slugger Aaron Judge faced live pitching for the first time since tearing a ligament in his right toe on June 3rd in a simulated game against Jonathan Losiega, who is rehabbing from right elbow surgery. Judge saw 16 pitches. He did not put any balls in play, but fouled off 4 pitches, including one to the upper deck behind home plate. The Yankees had started Sunday 17-22 since Judge crashed into the right field wall at Dodger Stadium while making a catch on a drive by J.D. Martinez. Taking a look at finals around the major leagues yesterday, Yankees beat Kansas City 8-5, and at Fenway, the Red Sox defeated the Mets 6-1. WNBA scores: New York over Indiana 101-83, and Washington defeated Phoenix 84-69. That's the latest in sports from News Radio WNBF on your Monday morning. WNBF News Time 6:18 coming up. Money news from ABC.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
First News Binghamton for you on a Monday morning. It's time for Money News with Jim Ryan from ABC.
It was only a 2.5-point gain, but the Dow Jones on Friday eked out its 10th consecutive day of advances. The blue chip index went into the weekend at 35,227. The Nasdaq Composite gave up about 0.25% Friday, while the S&P finished a fraction higher. Stellantis and Samsung SDI plan to open a second U.S. electric car battery plant. The location is still under review, but production is targeted for 2027. Stellantis, the parent of Jeep, Ram, and Alfa Romeo, says the goal is to offer at least 25 new electric vehicles in North America by the end of this decade. Hollywood is coming off a huge weekend of twin blockbusters. Barbie smashed expectations with $155 million domestically to land the biggest debut of the year. Christopher Nolan's historical drama Oppenheimer collected a remarkable $80 million in its opening weekend. It marks Hollywood's most profitable 3-day weekend since the pandemic began, the 4th biggest ever. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Oppie. Did you see the Oppenheimer movie? If you did, you'll never forget it. And maybe we'll talk about that coming up today on our talk program. Oppie. Amazing movie. I agree with the critics who have called it a masterpiece. I think it really is a masterpiece. Another business note right now, looking ahead to the start of stock trading on Wall Street this week, with trading set to begin in about 3 hours. Dow futures are up 48. NASDAQ futures are up 41. We'll have more money news for you throughout the day right here on News Radio WNBF. 6:22 also today, in addition to our talk program, there will be more discussion of the issues that are important to our nation with Dan Bongino from noon to 3, Sean Hannity from 3 to 6, and Mark Levin from 6 to 9. A lot to talk about today, and you'll hear it all on News Radio, WNBF 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, streaming at WNBF.com.
WNBF.
624 health news. Antonio Caraval has been legally blind for much of his 14 years. A gene therapy delivered through eye drops is allowing him to see again and has opened the door to similar therapies that could potentially treat millions of people with other eye diseases. Antonio was born with a rare genetic condition that causes blisters all over his body and in his eyes, but his skin improved when he joined a clinical trial to test the world's first topical gene therapy. His doctor is Alfonso Sabater. He came up with this treatment, and it seems to be working. Antonio's mom teared up when thinking what the doctor did for her son. She said, Antonio's been through everything. He's not only, and referring to the doctor, Sabater, he's not only a good doctor, but such a good human being, and also provided us with hope. The family came to the United States from Cuba a little over a decade ago on a special visa that allowed Antonio to get treatment for his eye condition. His vision kept getting worse, eventually deteriorating so much that he didn't feel safe walking around. At that point, the doctor didn't have many answers, but he tried to reassure the boy that he would find a solution. And he said he didn't give up. At one point, the treatment didn't look all that promising, but the doctor kept plugging away. Antonio's condition is caused by mutations in a gene that help produce a protein called collagen 7. The treatment uses an inactivated herpes simplex virus to deliver working copies of a gene, and the eye drops use the same liquid as the skin version. So with his vision restored, 14-year-old Antonio has enjoyed a typical teen pastime that he's wanted to do for quite a while, playing video games with his friends, and he now says he feels safe walking around. The doctor said the 2-year journey seeking government and hospital approvals was worth it. Just for Antonio, it was worth it, but also because it opens the space to treat other patients in the future. So that was quite a breakthrough being reported in Miami, with treatments of a 14-year-old boy who had been legally blind for much of his life, and now it appears his vision has been restored. So that's one of those promising medical stories. Sometimes we hear some stories that don't have a good end, but this definitely sounds promising. 627 at News Radio, WNBF.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Just call her Box Office Barbie.
This is the best day ever.
It is the best day ever. So is yesterday, and so is tomorrow, and every day from now until forever.
The long-awaited and much-hyped Barbie movie earned a massive $155 million in its debut weekend. That surpasses a Super Mario Brothers movie, not to mention every other Marvel movie, as the biggest opening of 2023. It also broke the first weekend record for a film directed by a woman, Greta Gerwig. Not to be outdone, Oppenheimer also soared past expectations, earning $80.5 million, one of the best starts for an R-rated biographical drama. With TV and movie actors and writers out on the picket lines, it was Hollywood prop houses to the rescue, a number of them holding a huge yard sale over the weekend to help struggling union members. And for some fans, it was a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get their hands on some one-of-a-kind memorabilia. Happy birthday, J-Lo. She's 54. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Yes, happy birthday, J-Lo. I'll Tell all the kids on the block that it's your birthday, and maybe we can all chip in to buy you a birthday cake and the Speedy of your choice. By the way, if you're celebrating your birthday today, birthday greetings to you. Please, even though it's a Monday, we encourage you to celebrate responsibly. This is First News Binghamton. I'm Bob Joseph, in for Don Morgan. WNBF News Time, 6:29.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
So it starts recording?
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's 62 in downtown Binghamton at 6:30. The forecast calls for a mostly sunny day today, a chance of showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon. Also, some areas of fog this morning. The high today, 83. Should be a fairly typical summer day for the Twin Tiers. Israelis by the hundreds of thousands have been fighting judicial overhaul for 29 weeks. At stake today is a bill that could become law that strips the courts of using the reasonableness standard to strike down laws or government decisions. It is only one of a large multi-step plan laid out by Benjamin Netanyahu's government.
Here in Jerusalem, tens of thousands of Israeli protesters marching towards parliament ahead of the final votes on a bill to significantly limit judicial review. Many from Tel Aviv coming from a large park nearby where they pitched dozens of tents and camped out over the weekend. Encircled by thousands on their feet, hundreds of protesters are sitting, linking arms right in front of parliament. Police removing some, no major clashes. Sources telling ABC News Netanyahu's government and the opposition are close to a compromise, what would call off the votes later today. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
47-year-old woman apparently was killed by a grizzly bear on a trail west of Yellowstone National Park in Montana. Authorities say Amy Adamson of Derby, Kansas, died in the attack. Her family posted online. Amy was a free-spirited adventurer who was working in Yellowstone for the summer, quit her job teaching English about 8 years ago so she could backpack around the United States, even writing a book about touring America. Speaking to ABC News, Amy's mom, Janet, said her daughter died doing what she loved.
She just was in the wrong place, the wrong time, she was in nature and she was doing what she loved.
WNBF News Time, 6:33. A SUNY Broome Associate Dean has been honored by the American Culinary Federation. Michael Stamets has been named the group's Chief Educator of the Year. The award was announced at the Federation's convention in New Orleans. Stamets is the SUNY Broome Associate Dean for the Hospitality and Culinary Events Center in downtown Binghamton. During the convention, the chef instructed culinary professionals in a classroom setting as he prepared a special spinach and ricotta buckwheat dish that featured summer vegetables and greens with a white balsamic vinaigrette. Stamets will demonstrate the preparation of his award-winning dish. Also talk about the SUNY Broome Hospitality Program at the Culinary and Events Center tomorrow morning at 11. The program will be held at the center on Exchange Street. President Biden has issued a disaster declaration for 8 New York State counties, which sustained major damage due to flooding this month. That declaration means federal assistance will be made available for recovery efforts in the region. Funding will be available for state and local governments as well as private nonprofit organizations for emergency work and the repair or replacement of storm-damaged facilities. That declaration area includes Clinton, Dutchess, Essex, Hamilton, Ontario, Orange, Putnam, and Rockland counties. Federal money also will be available for hazard mitigation measures across New York State. WNBF News Time, 6:34. The National Weather Service is advising that there is a potential for some hazardous weather today in parts of the Twin Tiers. Forecasters say that there is a possibility of scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, and a few of the storms may be strong to severe with damaging wind gusts, heavy rainfall, and even some hail. Here's the official forecast now. Some fog this morning for the next few hours in parts of the Twin Tiers. Otherwise, mostly sunny today. A chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. High 83. Partly cloudy tonight with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Low 63. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. High 84. Then things start to get warm for the second half of the week. Wednesday, sunny. High 91. Right now it's 62 in downtown Binghamton at 6:35. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
A frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat in silence. We apply what we learn to life. The bills, the job, the family. Things we're expected to handle with ease. When life heats up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You join because you are not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
So it starts recording?
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
6:38, good morning. I'm Bob Joseph in for Don Morgan. First News Binghamton. I trust you had a super weekend. So many people went to the movies. I went to the movies. I acknowledge I go to the movie theater infrequently, but when I do, you know it must be for a very, very good reason. And, well, it was an excellent reason to see Oppenheimer. So it's a movie unlike anything else I've seen before. They say that Oppenheimer brought in a lot of money. I know it's not always about the money, but I guess for some people it is. So the Oppenheimer movie, they say, collected more than $80 million in its opening weekend. So yes, in America, let's acknowledge it is about the money. Another movie, Barbie, also pulled in a remarkable amount of money, $155 million. So that was the biggest movie debut of 2023. So let me see. I'm not good at math, but I would say you add up Barbie, 155, and Oppenheimer with more than 80. That means movie theaters in the United States over the weekend pulled in almost $250 million. Now, some people, I've been told, saw both movies on the same day. I can't recommend that. I'm not saying don't do it. And certainly some people around here did. I just can't say that I would recommend it. But, hey, if you want to spend several hours in a movie theater watching two movies that are completely different from each other, try it. Again, it doesn't seem like the type of thing that would work for me, but if some people wanted to try that, hey, why not? By the way, I'm just looking at air quality this morning. Air quality in Binghamton is good at the moment. The AQI, Air Quality Index, for Binghamton is 41. So there are some pockets in New York State, especially northern New York, where air quality is not great. Looks like today air quality could deteriorate just a bit, but not because of smoke from any wildfires, because of ozone. And my guess is later this week, air quality in Binghamton and much of upstate New York will be less than optimal because of high ozone levels. And I haven't heard anything at this point about potential smoke conditions, but I will say it's so nice to actually have a few smoke-free days, especially when you consider what we encountered in early June. Those 2 days with some amazing levels of smoke coming from the fires in Quebec. So hopefully things won't be like that again anytime soon. 6:42. Good morning. This is First News Binghamton on News Radio WNBF 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, and you can stay connected with us using the free WNBF app.
Looking for a new way to give back to your community, learn new skills, and make a real difference? Consider volunteering with your local fire department. The majority of U.S. firefighters and emergency responders are volunteers, answering the call when their community needs them. Be part of a dedicated team of volunteers who step up and protect their community from all types of hazards. You can be the difference. There's no typical firefighter. Anyone can volunteer to serve their community. Volunteering as a first responder is really about having the heart and drive to make a difference where it's needed most. Aside from helping your community and being there for those in need, being a member of the Volunteer Fire Service provides many benefits, including an opportunity to learn new skills and join a family that will serve with you, always have your back, and train you to be the best version of yourself. Your community needs you. Will you answer the call? Learn more and find a local volunteer opportunity at makemeafirefighter.org. That's makemeafirefighter.org.
6:45. It's sports time on News Radio WNBF. Taking a look at the world of sports. First of all, Major League play. My Red Sox beat my Mets at Fenway yesterday, 6-1. Your Yankees defeated Kansas City 8-5 in the Bronx yesterday. WNBA, Washington 84, Phoenix 69. Also New York 101, Indiana 83. Rumble Ponies, rah-rah Rumble Ponies. Binghamton shut out Erie 2-0 to split the 6-game series. Augustin Ruiz started the scoring with a leadoff solo home run in the second inning, and that gave Binghamton a 1-0 lead. It was his team-leading 11th home run of the season. Ruiz was part of the action again in the 6th inning. He smacked a 2-out double, and Hayden Sanger followed with an RBI double to give the Ponies a 2-0 lead, and that's all they needed. That's all they needed to defeat Erie yesterday. That was the final 2-0. Rumble Ponies will take today off and then start a 6-game series in Reading against the Fightin' Phils. Airtime tomorrow morning, 11:50, right here on News Radio WNBF with Jacob Wilkins. Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff have been inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Rowland was the only player to be voted in by the Baseball Writers Association of America this year. McGriff was selected unanimously by the Contemporary Baseball Era Players Committee. Rowland credited his parents for raising him to be a good person, not a major league ball player. They were on hand in Cooperstown, just as they were when he made his debut with the Phillies in 1996. McGriff said there was no greater honor than having fellow players deem him worthy of the Hall of Fame. That is quite the honor. Danny Hamlin returned to victory lane at Pocono Raceway a year after his first-place finish was thrown out. Sunday's win is his record 7th at the track and the 50th in his Cup Series career. Hamlin also gave Toyota its 600th NASCAR victory. Hamlin passed Hall of Fame driver Jeff Gordon for most wins at that track. Hamlin and his former Joe Gibbs racing teammate Kyle Busch had their 1-2 finishes stripped a year ago by NASCAR for aerodynamics violations. This year he finished ahead of runner-up Tyler Reddick. Martin Truex Jr., who won last week at New Hampshire, was third. Kevin Harvick and Ty Gibbs rounded out the top 5. Cleveland Browns star Nick Chubb was one of several NFL running backs to take part in a Zoom call Saturday to talk about the current trend of their position being underpaid and devalued by some teams. Chubb is under contract through next season, but said he has already contemplated his future in a market increasingly becoming less friendly to running backs. Chubb was on the call with Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and some others. Barkley has threatened to sit out training camp and protest after he couldn't come to terms on a long-term contract. Brian Harmon is a major champion, and it was never in doubt. The 36-year-old American captured the British Open at Royal Liverpool. He started the day with a 5-shot lead, and no one ever got closer than 3 on a rainy Sunday in England. Harmon led the final 51 holes of this British Open. The one time it got tight on the front 9, he made consecutive birdies. The rest of the day was a soggy walk on the links. A soggy walk on the links. Harmon won for only the 3rd time in his career. He had gone 167 tournaments since his last PGA Tour title. And that is the latest from the world of sports. Soggy sports across the pond for you on News Radio, WNBF News Time, 6:50. Coming up, Money News on First News Binghamton.
Do you want to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with your local fire department. Operational and non-operational positions are available, and training is provided. Anyone can be a volunteer. You just need the heart and drive to make a difference where it's needed most. When your community needs you, will you be there to answer the call? Learn more about volunteering at makemeafirefighter.org. That's makemeafirefighter.org.
Hey, sweetie, what's going on?
Well, honey, I have some news.
Okay, what?
All that training paid off. I got the job.
Oh, I knew you would get it. So when do you start?
When you donate stuff to Goodwill, you help provide job training for people right here in your community. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
WNBF.
So it starts recording?
6:51 at WNBF. Now, Money News. World shares are mixed as investors cautiously await another interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve. Benchmarks rose in Tokyo and Frankfurt, but fell in Paris and Shanghai. London was flat. U.S. futures edged higher. In fact, Dow futures now are up 49. NASDAQ futures are up 38. Oil prices fell on the world market. Hong Kong's benchmark sank more than 2% as reports suggested Chinese leaders don't plan major stimulus measures to prop up slowing growth in the world's second largest economy. Elon Musk has unveiled a new black and white X logo to replace Twitter's blue bird as he follows through with a rebranding of the social media platform he bought for $44 billion. Musk replaced his own Twitter icon with a white X on a black background and then posted a picture early today of the design projected on Twitter's San Francisco headquarters. The X started appearing on the top of the desktop version of Twitter a few hours ago, but the bird was still dominant across the phone app. That soon will change. In response to questions about what tweets would be called when the rebranding is done, Musk said they would be called X's. Russian authorities have accused Ukraine of launching a drone attack on Moscow, during which one of the aircraft fell near the defense ministry's main headquarters. The mayor of Moscow said the drone struck 2 non-residential buildings and there were no casualties. The authorities said another Ukrainian drone attack early today struck an ammunition depot in Crimea. It forced a halt in traffic on a major highway and a railway. Russian forces, meanwhile, struck port infrastructure on the Danube River in southern Ukraine with exploding drones. 4 workers were wounded, and a grain hangar and other depots were destroyed. Excessive heat continues to bear down on sections of the United States, a reminder for the impetus of the Inflation Reduction Act, the significant climate legislation that turns 1 year old on August 16th. Since passage, it's boosted the U.S. transition to renewable energy, accelerated green domestic manufacturing, and made it more affordable for consumers to make climate-friendly purchases like installing solar panels on their homes. After decades of U.S. inaction, the legislation supplied the economic incentives that many people said would be required to fight climate change. WNBF News Time, 6:54. You're listening to First News Binghamton on a Monday morning. I'm Bob Joseph. In for Don Morgan, a programming note. I'll be here with First News Binghamton for 2 more hours. Then a special presentation of news and talk and opinion from 9 to 10, and that will be followed by your live local talk program. So today, you'll enjoy live local talk, including phone calls from people just like you, from 10 to noon. So don't worry, there is a live local talk program today, and I will be looking forward to hosting it, but our start time this morning will be 10 o'clock, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. If you're in other countries, I encourage you to do the math. And, of course, stay tuned. 6:55 WNBF.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
First News Binghamton, let's get some tech news from ABC's Mike Dubusky.
From ABC News Tech Trends, a new Broadway musical is making itself heard with some new audio technology. Jordan Tani is a part of the project management team at L Acoustics, the company behind Elisa.
Elisa is the immersive sound technology or spatial audio technology from L Acoustics, designed primarily for live environments.
Elisa made its Broadway debut last week in the musical Here Lies Love. Tani says the technology employs its own specialized software, processor, and speakers.
And when you combine all of these together, this allows us to actually take sounds and move them around the space.
He says that allows for more control over a show's audio than you'd get with a traditional surround sound setup.
We can even grab their sound object, their voice, and place them where they exactly are. Or we can have this tie in with real-time tracking systems, so that way it effortlessly mixes itself.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
6:58 at News Radio WNBF. Bizarre scene in Billings, Montana over the weekend. They tell us more than 30 people were hurt when a deck collapsed at a Montana country club during a golf tournament. The second-story patio floor of the Briarwood Country Club broke and gave way Saturday evening. The collapse caused head wounds, broken ribs, and other injuries as people landed atop each other, and debris, along with scraps of food, were scattered over the grass next to the golf course. Spokeswoman for the city of Billings, Victoria Hill, said the collapse occurred during the popular golf tournament for which 250 participants were registered. The police statement said there were no fatalities, although many people had injuries. The cause of the collapse isn't known. At least 25 people showed up at area hospitals. 8 were treated on site, and some additional guests who may have been injured could have left the scene on their own. So just a shocking sight in Billings, Montana. People were injured at a golf course on Saturday evening. WNBF News Time, 6:59.
This is News Radio 1290 AM, WNBF Binghamton. Now on 92.1 FM, W221 EJ Binghamton, a Town Square Media.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290, WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. The National Weather Service says there's a chance of scattered thunderstorms today. A few storms may become strong to severe with damaging wind gusts, heavy rainfall, and perhaps some hail. Stay tuned to News Radio WNBF for all the latest weather information throughout the day. The village government offices in Johnson City will soon be relocated at a site that also will be used as a public works department facility. Construction and renovation work at the former Country Valley Industries property at 60 Lester Avenue is nearing completion. The 6-acre site was acquired by Great Eastern Hemp in 2019. Company officials had said they expected to hire up to 40 workers to process hemp at the building, but that plan fell through. The village of Johnson City acquired the property through the eminent domain process. The village paid nearly $2.6 million for the site in December 2021. The Johnson City Village Board in September authorized borrowing $12 million for the project. Crews from LaChase Construction Services started renovation work for the new village office complex in October. Josh Howland, Johnson City's Director of Services, said that he expects the contractors will be completed working at the site by the end of this week. Mayor Martin Maney told WNBF News that village offices at the current municipal building will be closed during the week of August 14th while phone and computer equipment is moved. Maney said the goal will be to have offices open at the Lester Avenue facility on August 21st. Holland said public works operations will be moved to the new site over the next couple of months. The village offices have been located in the former Marine Midland building at 243 Main Street since 1986. That property will be sold after the offices have been moved. A Port Crane man has received a prison sentence after admitting he possessed cocaine. Authorities say 56-year-old Robbie Williams was sentenced to 2.5 years in state prison, followed by 3 years post-release supervision. He had pleaded guilty to criminal possession of a controlled substance. The charge was filed after a police search of Williams and the vehicle he was driving on Main Street in Johnson City in September 2021. That search turned up cocaine and nearly $1,900 in cash. According to the Broome County DA's office, Williams had a prior felony drug possession conviction dating back to 2018. Morning home delivery of the Press and Sun Bulletin newspaper remains available for Binghamton area residents right now, but that might change in the not-too-distant future. Gannett, the newspaper chain that owns the Press and Sun Bulletin, has fired its delivery teams in several cities over the past couple of years. In places like Ithaca and Elmira, Gannett decided it would save money by relying on the U.S. Postal Service to deliver its papers. The shift to mail delivery for the Elmira Star-Gazette started July 10th. The Ithaca Journal ended its own home delivery service in December 2021. Of course, because there's no regular mail delivery on Sundays, the weekend edition of the Star-Gazette now is scheduled to be delivered by postal carriers on Saturday. But if you don't get it in Saturday's mail, you'll probably wind up getting it Monday. The Binghamton Press and Sun Bulletin and other New York Gannett papers now are printed in Rockaway, New Jersey. Newspaper subscribers in Ithaca and elsewhere have complained about inconsistent mail delivery since Gannett made the switch. Postal Service has experienced the same problems Gannett has encountered in recruiting workers. News reports indicate Gannett has moved to mail delivery for dozens of its newspapers in smaller markets across the U.S. Company won't say at this point exactly how many papers are being delivered by the Postal Service, and it also refused to say when a change might occur with the Binghamton paper. In response from WNBF News, questions that we sent, Gannett Corporate Communications said, "We have not implemented this strategy in Binghamton, but we have made the decision to shift the distribution model in some markets from carrier delivery to delivery via the Postal Service to ensure more consistent delivery." The statement said the company is confident the transition will allow the company to best serve subscribers and advertisers. The company also said we'll continue to evolve our business model, evaluating delivery frequencies as demand for digital news increases and readers' habits shift. So stay tuned. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service. Mostly sunny today, a chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, high 83. Partly cloudy tonight with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, low 63. Mostly sunny tomorrow, a chance of showers and thunderstorms late in the day, high 84. And sunny Wednesday, high 91. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
So it starts recording?
And good morning. Today is the day that we start a brand new week. It's Monday, July 24th. And no, this is not Don Morgan. I know astute listeners picked up on that right away. I'm Bob Joseph, filling in for Don this morning. I hope things are going well as you begin your day. If you're a coffee consumer or a tea fanatic, or if you just start your day with a nice crystal clear glass of water, whatever you're enjoying today, hope it's hitting the spot. Hope your day goes well. Be prepared to spend as much of your day with News Radio, WNBF. We're here for you, and we are really pleased to be able to inform and also entertain along the way. Of course, First News Binghamton will be on till 9, another couple of hours. Then, and note this, because it doesn't appear in your radio guide. I know you're saying, but Bob, Radio Guide has all the most accurate official information about broadcast programming for both FM and AM. And I would say, well, maybe this was not available in time for the publication deadline for your Radio Guide. If you receive the Binghamton edition today, you'll be able to hear our talk program from 10 to noon. Okay, so write that down. Write that down on your forehead or whatever so you don't forget. The local talk program today is on from 10 to noon, and we will have plenty of time for your phone calls. So I know you're going to say, but Bob, I had a lot to say first thing after the 9 o'clock news. Well, hold those thoughts. Hold those thoughts. You'll have a chance to express yourself today with our talk show from 10 to noon right here. Also, which you will see in the Binghamton edition of Radio Guide, because this was already in the works from noon to 3. Dan Bongino from 3 to 6, Sean Hannity, and 6 to 9, Mark Levin. It's all for you today. A lot to talk about, including local topics on our program coming up later this morning. I hope you'll be around to join us. If you can't call in, certainly listen at 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, and streaming online at WNBF.com. By the way, check out our website for local news and certain features. There's more information about that mystery surrounding the future of newspaper delivery. I know I talked to some people over the weekend after we reported what Gannett has been doing with more and more of its papers. They have decided, who wants to actually deliver our newspapers? We can't find enough people to deliver the newspapers, or we don't have enough people who are subscribing to the print edition anymore to make it worth our while. So we'll just fire all the people who have served us, in some cases for many, many years. We'll fire them, and then we'll print the papers early enough so we can get them to the post office early in the day, and then it'll be the problem of the Postal Service to deliver those papers. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. In Ithaca and Elmira, they just started in Elmira. So folks who want to get their morning newspaper, say at breakfast time, say right now before you go to work, those people are sadly out of luck. And will that happen with the Binghamton Press and Sun Bulletin? Well, we don't know. We don't know. The bottom line is the people at Gannett won't say what they intend to do about home delivery for the Binghamton paper. But there are more details on our website, WNBF.com. WNBF News Time, 7:15. Now it's time for sports. And let's begin at the ballpark, shall we?
Once again, it'll be a 3-2 from Lyles to Rizzo. Swung on, hit high in the air to right. Back to the wall, and it's gone! Waters went back as far as he could go. Anthony Rizzo has not homered since May 20th. Over 2 months. Now he homers there. You know this. Nobody beats the Riz. Rizzo rakes in the right field seats, and the Yankees take a 5-0 lead.
Nobody beats John Sterling with the call on the Fan, WFAN. And that was the story from the Bronx yesterday afternoon. The Yankees ultimately beat the Royals 8-5. Meanwhile, at beautiful Fenway in Boston.
Here's a high drive into right field. It is way back at the wall. Goodbye! Raffy launches his 24th homer, and it's 6-1 Red Sox.
Well, go Red Sox. If you're a Red Sox fan. Good for Raffy. That was the call on WEEI in Boston, direct from Fenway. And Red Sox ultimately did hold on. And that was the final, 6-1. Boston over the Mets. Here in Binghamton at Mirabido Stadium, big win for the Rumble Ponies. Binghamton shut out the Erie Seawolves to split their 6-game series. Augustin Ruiz started the scoring with a leadoff solo home run in the second inning that gave Binghamton a 1-0 lead, and it was his team-leading 11th home run of the season. Ruiz was a part of the action again in the 6th inning. He smacked a 2-out double, and Hayden Sanger followed with an RBI double to give the Ponies a 2-0 lead, and that was it for the scoring Sunday afternoon. The Rumble Ponies are off today. Binghamton will begin a 6-game series in Reading against the Fightin' Phils tomorrow, with first pitch scheduled for high noon. WNBF coverage begins at 11:50 tomorrow morning with Jacob Wilkins right here on News Radio WNBF, your home for Rumble Ponies baseball. And I'm glad they had a nice outing yesterday afternoon at the stadium. Elsewhere in sports, officials from many of the sports on the Olympic program remain split on how to treat Russian athletes 1 year before the Paris Games and nearly a year and a half since the country's invasion of Ukraine. Various governing bodies are increasingly allowing teams of Russians back into Olympic qualifying competitions as neutral competitors without national flags or anthems. Most sports initially barred Russians from competing soon after last year's full-scale invasion. The International Olympic Committee strongly backs those moves, even as the body itself says it hasn't decided if athletes from Russia and ally Belarus can compete at the Paris Games. Also, in sports in Cooperstown, Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff were indicted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Rowland was the only player to be voted in by the Baseball Writers Association of America this year. McGriff was selected by the Contemporary Baseball Era Players Committee. Rowland credited his parents for raising him to be a good person, not a Major League ball player. And in fact, they were on hand in Cooperstown Sunday afternoon, just as they were when he made his debut with the Phillies back in 1996. McGriff said there was no greater honor than having fellow players deem him worthy of the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff, now enshrined in Cooperstown. And that is the latest in sports from News Radio, WNBF News Time, 7:21.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
This is First News Binghamton live at 7:23. I'm Bob Joseph, in for Don Morgan this morning. Time for some money news from ABC's Jim Ryan.
It was only a 2.5-point gain, but the Dow Jones on Friday eked out its 10th consecutive day of advances. The blue chip index went into the weekend at 35,227. The Nasdaq Composite gave up about 0.25% Friday, while the S&P finished a fraction higher. Stellantis and Samsung SDI plan to open a second U.S. electric car battery plant. The location is still under review, but production is targeted for 2027. Stellantis, the parent of Jeep, Ram, and Alfa Romeo, says the goal is to offer at least 25 new electric vehicles in North America by the end of this decade. Hollywood is coming off a huge weekend of twin blockbusters. Barbie smashed expectations with $155 million domestically to land the biggest debut of the year. Christopher Nolan's historical drama Oppenheimer collected a remarkable $80 million in its opening weekend. It marks Hollywood's most profitable three-day weekend since the pandemic began, the fourth biggest ever. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
A bizarre scene at the theater as people who were probably speechless walking out of the showing of Oppenheimer. You see in the lobby all these people wearing bright pink. It was it got your attention, we'll say that. It goes from spending 3 hours focusing on Oppenheimer and everything that movie entailed, and then you're in a sea of pink. It's going to show it's a very interesting world in which we live. Wall Street futures right now, Dow futures are up 43 and NASDAQ futures are up 39. Good morning. It's Monday, July 24th. Only 7 months until Christmas Eve. So you better get moving. Don't procrastinate. You're listening to News Radio, WNBF. Coming up, entertainment news with Daria Albinger.
WNBF.
7:27 at WNBF and WNBF.com. Daria Albinger is at ABC's entertainment desk.
Just call her Box Office Barbie.
This is the best day ever. It is the best day ever. So is yesterday, and so is tomorrow, and every day from now until forever.
The long-awaited and much-hyped Barbie movie earned a massive $155 million in its debut weekend. That surpasses a Super Mario Brothers movie, not to mention every other Marvel movie, as the biggest opening of 2023. It also broke the first weekend record for a film directed by a woman, Greta Gerwig. Not to be outdone, Oppenheimer also soared past expectations, earning $80.5 million, one of the best starts for an R-rated biographical drama. With TV and movie actors and writers out on the picket lines, it was Hollywood prop houses to the rescue, a number of them holding a huge yard sale over the weekend to help struggling union members. And for some fans, it was a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get their hands on some one-of-a-kind memorabilia. Happy birthday, J-Lo. She's 54. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating today, I hope it's the best day ever. And I hope tomorrow will be the best day ever, too, for you. Or at least a decent day. 7:28 WNBF. Of course, we are starting a brand new week. Intriguing story on the front page of the highly respected Rocket Courier newspaper from Wyalusing. Dairy cows are all-stars of Major League Baseball. The Cargill plant in Wyalusing provides the cow hides that are made into Major League Baseball. So the next time you're watching a Major League Baseball game, think of the poor cows who, shall we say, met the end of the road in Wyalusing, Pennsylvania, because now they get to live on, at least briefly, as part of the cowhide on baseball, according to a story. Actually, it's on the front page of the Rocket Courier, but apparently it was originally published in Lancaster Farming by Stephanie Spiker. So that'll guarantee the next time I'm watching a Major League Baseball game, I am going to think of the poor cows in Wyalusing and think of how things didn't end well. It's 7:29 at News Radio WNBF.
WNBF Binghamton.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's 63 in downtown Binghamton at 7:30. The forecast from the National Weather Service. Some areas of fog around the Twin Tiers this morning. Otherwise, mostly sunny today with a chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. High 83. National Weather Service forecasters advise there's a chance of a few strong or even severe thunderstorms passing through the area later today. And some of those storms could bring some gusty winds and even some hail. So that's something to be prepared for later today. Pay attention to the forecast throughout the day right here at News Radio. WNBF News Time, 7:31. President Biden has issued a disaster declaration for 8 New York State counties, which sustained major damage due to flooding this month. The declaration means federal assistance will be made available for recovery efforts in the region. Funding will be available for state and local governments as well as private nonprofit organizations for emergency work and the repair or replacement of storm damaged facilities. The declaration area includes Clinton, Dutchess, Essex, Hamilton, Ontario, Orange, Putnam, and Rockland counties. Federal money also will be available for hazard mitigation measures across New York State. Damage assessments are continuing, and more counties may be designated for disaster assistance in the future. The record-shattering heat wave continues from coast to coast. The middle of the United States is now bracing for triple-digit temperatures, and things are going to warm up into the 90s here in the Binghamton area later this week. At the moment, about 40 million people in the U.S. are under heat alerts. We get more from ABC's Victor Oquendo reporting from Miami.
With rising temperatures come soaring electric bills, people cranking the AC. Some estimates, utility bills up nearly 12% this summer over last. Power grids in hard-hit states holding up. Texas seeing record usage over the last few weeks.
Conversations have commenced between UN Command and North Korea over the American soldier who ran into the North a few days ago across the heavily armed border.
General Andrew Harrison confirms the talk process has started, that the well-being of Private Travis King remains his primary concern.
None of us know where this is going to end, so I'm
in life an optimist. I remain optimistic, but again, I'll leave that there.
U.S. officials have expressed concern about King's well-being and have previously said North Korea was ignoring their requests for information about him. His crossing has come as tensions ramp up on the peninsula. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
WNBF News Time, 7:33. A big honor for a SUNY Broome Associate Dean. He's been recognized by the American Culinary Federation. Michael Stamets has been named the group's Chief Educator of the Year. That award was announced at the Federation's convention in New Orleans. Stamets is the SUNY Broome Associate Dean for the Hospitality and Culinary Events Center in downtown Binghamton. During the convention, the chef instructed culinary professionals in a classroom setting as he prepared a special spinach and ricotta buckwheat dish that featured summer vegetables and greens with a white balsamic vinaigrette. Stamets will demonstrate the preparation of the award-winning dish and discuss the SUNY Broome Hospitality Program tomorrow morning at 11 at the Culinary and Events Center. That program will be held at the center on Exchange Street in Binghamton. A Port Crane man has been sentenced to prison after admitting he possessed cocaine. Authorities say 56-year-old Robbie Williams was sentenced to 2.5 years in state prison, followed by 3 years post-release supervision. He had pleaded guilty to criminal possession of a controlled substance. The charge was filed after a police search of Williams and the vehicle he was driving on Main Street in Johnson City in September 2021. The search turned up some cocaine and nearly $1,900 in cash. Williams forfeits the cash under the plea deal. According to the Broome County DA's office, Williams had a prior felony drug possession conviction going back to 2018. WNBF News Time, 7:35. And now the forecast from the National Weather Service. Some dense fog this morning, probably around the Twin Tiers until about 10 o'clock or so. Otherwise, mostly sunny today. A chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Forecasters advise us that some storms may become strong to severe with damaging wind gusts, heavy rainfall, and perhaps some hail. So we are looking forward to a high today of 83. Tonight, partly cloudy. Chance of showers and thunderstorms, low 63. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 84, and then things heat up. Wednesday, sunny, high 91. Right now it's 63 in downtown Binghamton at 7:36. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:38 at WNBF. If you ever dreamed of standing naked in New York City with dozens of strangers while artists turn your skin into a work of art, you may have missed your chance. The body painting day on Sunday, they say, will be the final edition after more than a decade of artists turning nude bodies into works of art. The organizer of the event, Andy Golub, expects more than 50 people will be painted over 4 hours in Union Square. And then they'll pose for a photo in Washington Square Park, ride a double-decker bus over the Manhattan Bridge, and then end the day with a party in Brooklyn. Golub is an artist and free speech activist who's been painting on nude models since 2007. He started the annual body painting extravaganza to underscore that nudity for artistic purposes is legal in New York City. Well, of course, that hasn't stopped the cops from trying to halt the event. Back in 2011, Golub said he and 2 models were arrested and detained for 24 hours, but the charges were dropped once authorities determined really they did nothing illegal. It's perfectly natural. Golub said, you'll find there's a lot of people that have been really impacted positively, mostly models, but also artists, and feeling that they've come out of their skin. And it's just been like a really positive experience of really celebrating freedom. past iterations of the event have been held in Columbus Circle, Times Square, and other landmark locations across the city. I don't really see why they're ending that tradition in New York City. Who knows? Maybe they'll move it to someplace like Binghamton. 7:40 at News Radio, WNBF, WNBF.com. It's summer in our city, and today we do expect a few thunderstorms in the afternoon. As we mentioned, the forecasters say some of those storms could be severe or strong, so don't be surprised in some parts of the Twin Tiers if there is a bit of heavy rain, some gusty wind, and even some hail at some points. So it's sort of part of a summer weather pattern that we think are getting used to. It seems in many cases over the last couple of weeks fairly predictable. Seems most days are quite nice for most of the day. Then after things heat up, we wind up with some storm action, and then things still stay steamy for the next few days. It seems as though that trend may continue for a while, especially across the country. I did hear an interesting forecast looking ahead for the next few weeks as we move into August, although forecasters across the United States expect the warmer than usual conditions to remain across most of the country. For the Northeast, they say temperatures actually may be fairly normal or even a bit below normal for the first part of August. So if that holds true, I think I would be happy. I will not be upset if temperatures, say, in the first half of August are, say, in the upper 70s to low 80s. That would not be a problem for me. Right now, though, it's fairly pleasant. 64 in downtown Binghamton. This is First News Binghamton. WNBF News Time, 7:42.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
With the arrival of warmer weather, now is a great time to hit the road and explore New York State's exciting wine regions, learn about the history of wine in the United States, or simply enjoy a glass with a spectacular vineyard view. You'll find many wineries from which to choose, including many small and family-run. Many wineries host special events such as wine tastings and festivals. New York State has 7 wine regions, stretching from the Niagara Escarpment in western New York to the Hamptons on Long Island. Take a tour of a single winery as part of your trip, or visit several along one of the state's wine trails. For more information on winery tours and wine trails in New York State, visit the I Love New York website at iloveny.com. Our world-class wines, New York State. Come be a part of it.
Work, school, grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, the gym, to the airport to pick up loved ones, to the kids' soccer games, piano lessons, out for movie night, to hear your favorite band in the city, over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and on last year's amazing road trip. Your vehicle takes you so many places. Protect it. When you leave your vehicle, remember to always take your keys or key fob with you and lock the doors. If you suspect auto theft, contact the National Insurance Crime Bureau at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB, or visit our website at www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
7:45 sports time on WNBF. The Rumble Ponies shut out the Seawolves Sunday afternoon at Mirabito Stadium to split the 6-game series. Augustin Ruiz started the scoring with a leadoff solo home run in the second inning, which gave Binghamton a 1-0 lead. And was his team-leading 11th home run of the season. Ruiz was a part of the action again in the 6th inning. He smacked a 2-out double, and Hayden Singer followed with an RBI double to give the Ponies a 2-0 lead. So the final was 2-0 in favor of the Rumble Ponies over the Seawolves. Binghamton off today. Ponies start a 6-game series on the road against the Fightin' Phils in Reading. That'll be a noon first pitch tomorrow. WNBF coverage will begin at 11:50 a.m. with Jacob Wilkins. All for you, WNBF. Mets lost last night to the Red Sox 6-1. The victory kept Boston tied with the rival Yankees for last place in the American League East, though both are 6 games above 500 and just 2 games out of a playoff spot. Red Sox manager Alex Cora said, we put the ball in play and had some quality at bats, so congratulations to the Red Sox. You know, some people are saying, wait, you should be a fan of the Mets. I'm a fan of both the Mets and the Red Sox. But in this case, Boston won at Fenway. So congratulations in this case to the Red Sox. And, of course, we continue to wish the Mets continuing success in 2024. In the Bronx, Anthony Rizzo. Nobody beats the Riz. Hit his first home run since May 20th and went 4 for 4 as the Yankees beat the Royals 8-5 to complete their 3rd series sweep of the season. Gleyber Torres' 2-run homer sparked New York's 4-run first inning against Jordan Lyles. Torres extended his hitting streak to a career-high 13 games, but exited in the 7th because of left hip tightness. Luis Severino won for the first time in 4 starts since June 24th. Rizzo also hit an RBI double in the 1st and singled in the 5th before capping a 10-pitch at-bat with a single in the 8th. It was Rizzo's 15th career 4-hit game and first since August 2019. Again, Yankees over the Royals 8-5. Elsewhere in sports, just down the road, Pocono Raceway hosted its biggest crowd since 2010. The increase was attributed in large part to the track losing one race weekend and a series of fan-friendly upgrades to a track that hosted its first NASCAR race in 1974. NASCAR tracks do not usually release attendance numbers. Not sure why the secrecy, but I guess that's the way it is. They don't really want you to know. Pocono President Ben May said the track sold around 50,000 grandstand tickets and 3,300 camping spots. Denny Hamlin slid out of the winning Toyota and was instantly booed by the crowd, unhappy with how he shoved Kyle Larson's car into the wall over the final laps. Guess you had to be there. That's the NASCAR story from Long Pond, making WNBF Sports. 7:49, good morning. Today is July 24th. This is Bob Joseph in for Don Morgan today on First News Binghamton, which continues for another hour. A program note that you may be interested in. Our talk show today, the live local talk program that so many people enjoy Monday through Fridays from 9 to noon. Today, the talk show will start at 10 and run till noon. So you'll still have plenty of time to call, express your views. If you have thoughts about local issues, maybe something you did over the weekend, perhaps a movie that you saw or something else, you'll be able to talk all about it today on our talk program starting at 10, right after the 10 o'clock news. Here on News Radio, WNBF News Time, 7:50. Coming up, Money News, and then Tech Trends from ABC.
Sometimes it seems the crises just keep coming for children. COVID, war, drought, and famine. They can seem downright relentless. But you know what? So can our response. When helping children unites us, we are a force to be reckoned with. Where there is help, there is hope. It's why UNICEF won't stop, ever. Learn more at unicefusa.org/we won't stop.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:52, Monday Morning Money News. Elon Musk has just unveiled a new black and white X logo to replace Twitter's blue bird as he follows through with a major rebranding of the social media platform he acquired for $44 billion last year. Musk replaced his own Twitter icon with a white X on a black background and posted a picture of the design projected on Twitter's San Francisco headquarters. You don't know their names, but you might recognize their faces. Hollywood's journeyman actors tend to work for scale pay and spend at least as much time lining up work as working. They have to keep multiple balls in the air: TV jobs, commercials, voiceover work. And they're the ones, not the big Hollywood names, who are at the heart of the current strike. Several journeyman actors were interviewed by AP. They were asked about why they're striking. One issue is the emergence of streaming has severely reduced the residual payments that actors tend to count on. Many who work as extras worry that AI will replicate their images without paying them more. Taking a look at world shares on this Monday, they're mixed as investors cautiously await another interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve. Benchmarks rose in Tokyo and Frankfurt, but fell in Paris and Shanghai. U.S. futures right now are positive. Dow futures are up 30, and NASDAQ futures are up 44. WNBF News Time, 7:53, coming up. Tech Trends from ABC News on First News Binghamton.
All families are different, and some have parents or children with little to no eyesight. But this doesn't stop them from sharing the work, play, love, and laughter of family life. Eyesight doesn't define a parent, a child, or a family. What counts is being together. Want to learn more? Visit us on the web at blind.org. The National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
From ABC News Tech Trends, a new Broadway musical is making itself heard with some new audio technology. Jordan Tani is a part of the project management team at L Acoustics, the company behind Elisa.
Elisa is the immersive sound technology or spatial audio technology from L Acoustics, designed primarily for live environments.
Elisa made its Broadway debut last week in the musical Here Lies Love. Connie says the technology employs its own specialized software, processor, and speakers.
And when you combine all of these together, this allows us to actually take sounds and move them around the space.
He says that allows for more control over a show's audio than you'd get with a traditional surround sound setup.
We can even grab their sound object, their voice, and place them where they exactly are. Or we can have this tie in with real-time tracking systems, so that way it effortlessly mixes itself.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
7:56 at WNBF. Coming up in about 4 minutes, ABC will cover the nation and world. And then a local update from the WNBF News Center.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:58 on this Monday morning. A week-long wildfire on the Greek island of Rhodes has torn past defenses, forcing more evacuations as 3 major fires rage elsewhere in the country, fueled by strong winds and successive heat waves. The latest evacuations were ordered in South Rhodes after 19,000 people, mostly tourists, were moved in buses and boats over the weekend out of the path of the fire that reached several coastal areas from nearby mountains. Additional evacuations took place overnight on 2 other islands. Well, looking at the images, it's a terrible scene. Wildfires in Greece. WNBF News Time, 7:49.
This is News Radio 1290 AM, WNBF Binghamton. Now on 92.1 FM, W221 EJ Binghamton, a Town Square media station.